This podcast is presented by the Prince George's County Memorial Library System.
Hi, I'm Darlene.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Heather, and this is our podcast, These Books Made Me. Today we're going to be talking about several of the Mary Anne books from the Babysitters Club series. Friendly warning as always, this podcast contains spoilers. If you don't yet know who yeets her shoe across the school gym, proceed with caution. We have a special returning guest with us today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelsey, and I'm back. I am so happy that I am always called back to be your Babysitters Club expert.
All right, so what did this book mean to you? Was this everyone's first time reading?
I mean, I was a Babysitters Club fanatic. As a kid, I brought my original copies of the Mary Anne Saves the Day and Logan Likes Mary Anne from my personal collection. So these definitely meant a lot to me. I didn't remember the plots at all. But, you know, I always kind of related to Mary Anne because I was a very shy kid. So I was glad we're
You've got the old school cover.
Very old school.
I much prefer those to these, but, you know, we were talking before you got here about these skewing a little younger than the ages of the girls in the book. And so I think the new covers that are like very comic book looking, like actually they're not even comic book looking. They're not cool like that. They look like Caillou or something. It's like kids animation.
Yeah. They're very young. Although I will say Mary Anne looks like she is at least like 16 on these covers. She does not look like she's 12. So
I think the classic covers are nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know I read two of the ones we're covering today as a kid. I do not think I read The Library Mystery. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it at all. Yeah, I don't know. The reread compared favorably. Like, I enjoyed them as a kid. I still think these are pretty great as a series. I think they've got some cool stuff happening in them, especially like on the feminism front. I think they have some nice examples of how to handle conflict, how to run a business, how to navigate boys and friendships and dealing with adults when you're a kid. So I stand by these books. I think they're great.
Mm-hmm. I thought they seemed really dated, I guess, when I was growing up. And so I just never gravitated toward them. But I've since really enjoyed all the books that we've read for the Babysitters Club. And maybe at some point I'll actually make my way through the series.
But yeah, this was not a series I encountered. I heard of it. I remember hearing about the Babysitters Club. Sort of, in my mind, it was in the same category as Sweet Valley High, of like books that I knew were aimed at my age range, but not books that I ever picked up. Of course, now reading them both as an adult for this podcast, I realize that they're both kind of different beasts.
Yes.
So I guess what these books mean to me is me reading them and trying to imagine what it would have been like to read them had I actually read them at the age range that they were aimed at. Anne Matthews Martin was born on August 12th, 1955, and grew up in Princeton, New Jersey. Her mother, Edith, taught preschool while her father worked as an illustrator and cartoonist for several prominent magazines. She has a younger sister, Jane. Martin credits her babysitting exploits with her childhood best friend, Beth, for the ideas and characters in the Babysitters Club. In her letters to young readers on Scholastic's website, she states Beth was the model for Christy, while she was the model for Mary Anne, as she was a, quote, shy, quiet, and conscientious girl. She was encouraged to write by an elementary school teacher, but initially decided to pursue work as a teacher due to her love of children. She attended Smith College, studying education and child psychology, graduating in 1977. Martin credits her time in the all-women's environment of Smith for her formative years as a feminist. Her first job post-grad was at an elementary school in Connecticut, teaching a mixed 4th and 5th grade special education class. She only spent 1 year in the classroom before shifting to the children's publishing world, finding work as an editor. While working for Scholastic, another editor, Jean Fywell, floated the idea for a series of children's books about babysitting. Martin took that idea and ran with it, and the Babysitters Club series was born. It was originally planned to be just 4 books, but Scholastic would publish 213 between 1986 and 2000. Sources differ as to how many of the books Martin wrote herself, ranging from 35 to 80, and how many were penned by ghostwriters. She's primarily focused on one-off novels since then, winning a Newbery Honor for her book, A Corner of the Universe, in 2002. Martin has stayed busy outside of writing as well, founding the Lisa Libraries in 1990, an organization that provides children's books and support to libraries in underserved communities. She also created an eponymous foundation that same year, which focuses on literacy and arts programs and the care of stray and abused animals. In 2000, the Babysitters Club series ended with some 300 titles and almost 200 million copies in print. That same year, she teamed up with Canadian author Laura Godwin and illustrator Brian Selznick to write the 4-book Doll People series. Godwin was also Martin's longtime partner at the time they wrote the Doll People series, although they have since split. Martin, a self-avowed shy person, maintains a quiet private life with her many pets. She has had multiple dogs and fostered hundreds of kittens. She currently resides in Shokan, a small town near Woodstock in New York, and recently wore a different hat as a producer for Netflix on their Babysitters Club series. Chrissy's great idea made People magazine's list of best book from the 80s at number 15, just after Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera. At her author Facebook page, which is active at the time of this recording, Martin expressed how honored she was to be on this list with the other books recognized. Other items on her page include her and her sister wearing matching outfits, Martin's cat Danny looking furious at having to wear a bow tie, and of course, lots of Babysitters Club content.
Our first book for today is Mary Anne Saves the Day. We're back in Stony Brook, and our first Mary Anne book is something like the literary equivalent of a Capri Sun and a passive-aggressive group text. In book 4 of the Babysitters Club saga, things are not well in Stony Brook. Our 4 adolescent entrepreneurs, Christy, Claudia, Stacey, and Mary Anne, have a full-on Cold War brewing after a petty squabble turns into a full-blown fallout.
All right, let's tell each other a secret about ourselves. I'm going to go first. I hate you.
This book has everything. Silent treatment, cafeteria table drama, new best friends, and strategic babysitting assignments. It's like Real Housewives, but with more glitter pins and less wine. Mary Anne Spier is our quiet, braid-wearing, curfew-loving heroine. Mary Anne is usually the shy and people-pleasing Switzerland of the group.
I'm tired of this. From now on, I'm Switzerland.
If Switzerland had a super-controlling father in a pink bedroom with a dollhouse. Unfortunately, even Switzerland has lines that can't be crossed. And when Christy assigns herself a job without offering it to everyone first, tempers flare and the 4 girls are calling each other bossy, babies, snobs, and job hogs. The meeting in chapter 1 ends with slammed doors and hurt feelings. The girls all get super petty about trying to look like they don't care and peel off and make some new friends. Enter stage right Dawn Schaefer. Dawn's a California girl who has just moved into a historic farmhouse. Mary Anne and Dawn quickly become besties. The club stops meeting due to their squabbling and just take turns assigning jobs. Mary Anne has a meltdown and tells her dad she's tired of being treated like a baby. Dawn and Mary Anne find an old Stony Brook High yearbook and find out their parents were high school sweethearts, and lo and behold, they're both single now. When babysitting gig for the deeply weird Preziosos goes sideways, cue high fever, unreachable parents in a snowstorm, Mary Anne is forced to rise from the ashes of timidity and actually use the phone to call 911. 911,
what's your emergency, please?
That's right. She saves the day, calls for help, and suddenly she's not the shy one with the kitten posters anymore. She's the babysitter MVP. Actually, maybe Dawn is the MVP since she was the one who said to call 911 and kept a cool head, but it's Mary Anne's book. By the end, there are apologies, handmade cards, and emotional growth that would put most adults to shame. The girls reconcile, the club is stronger than ever, and Mary Anne earns herself a snazzy new pair of overalls and some overdue respect. For our second book, we're tackling Logan Likes Mary Anne. the BSC book where hormones finally crash the slumber party. In this middle grade masterpiece of romantic tension and lots of talk about bras, Mary Anne, freshly empowered from her whole summer of discovering boys are cute, catches the eye of new boy Logan Bruno, straight out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's got 17 or 16 magazine hair, gentlemanly vibes, and a babysitting resume to rival Mary Anne's. He's basically a 12-year-old babysitting Zac Efron. Naturally, the Babysitters Club is shook. The club invites Logan to audition for the club, and he nails it on the babysitting front, but weirds everyone out by being male and really putting a damper on the bra talk. Mary Anne is head over heels, but also still shy and generally risk-averse. This throws our sweet, bashful heroine into a full-blown freakout. Mary Anne has been appointed as Logan's babysitting evaluator, and they share a joint job that goes kind of poorly, but Logan's smooth talking makes everything okay. Mary Anne's got an invitation to the dance, from Logan, of course, a little more freedom from her dad, and a birthday coming up. Dance is a bit of a disaster when Mary Anne completely falls apart after her shoe falls off. The girls plan a surprise birthday party for Mary Anne, except they don't tell her because it's a surprise. So when Mary Anne walks into the party completely unprepared and sees balloon snacks and Logan, she short-circuits. It's my party and I cry if I want to cry. Total meltdown. She flees. The girls are stunned, Logan is confused, and Mary Anne is done with surprises, boys, and probably snacks too. Mary Anne decides she doesn't need boys or friends and commits to becoming a cat lady. Her dad is unexpectedly supportive of the cat lady plan and takes her to the shelter to get a gray kitty named Tigger. Eventually, feelings are sorted, apologies are exchanged, and Mary Anne and Logan talk things out like two very awkward but emotionally intelligent 13-year-olds. They decide to keep things casual, hand-holding optional, and Logan joins the club as an associate member, which is basically Christy's way of saying, you can work for us, but you can't come to meetings, which honestly sounds like the best job ever. Next, we're cracking open Mary Anne in the Library mystery, also known as the book where Mary Anne gets to be Nancy Drew, even though that's actually Claudia's thing. We didn't write this installment of the BSC, but honestly, we could have. It involves 3 of our favorite things, and our least favorite thing ever: mysteries, public libraries, pyromaniacs, and people trying to ban books. Our story begins innocently enough. Mary Anne is volunteering at the local library because Claudia's mom needs help with the readathon program. But this isn't just about overdue books and awkward silences. Suddenly, mysterious things start happening. Books are vanishing. A proto-Moms for Liberty group is challenging books they haven't read. The library's card catalog is tampered with, and Miss Elway, the disgruntled librarian, is maybe bitter about the library being built on her family's land. Mary Anne naturally gets pulled into full investigative mode, but she's not alone. Her trusty Babysitters Club friends are in tow, offering various levels of help and chaotic energy. Think less Sherlock Holmes, more 3 kids in a trench coat. Claudia's focused on the fashion of potential suspects. Christy's demanding the library install security cameras. And Stacey is probably flirting with the guy who shelved Goosebumps. Meanwhile, Mary Anne is connecting the dots like a middle school mastermind, all while juggling babysitter jobs, algebra homework, and the lingering social trauma of that time Logan said hi to her in public. In classic BSC fashion, the mystery is solved not with police intervention, but with pluck, empathy, suspiciously convenient eavesdropping, and a stakeout full of fashion don'ts. Turns out our pyro is actually just Sean, who didn't want to participate in the readathon and whose parents can't be bothered to spend time with him. The readathon ends successfully with Mary Anne sobbing in pride because Nikki's a reader now. Some say the book banning group is still protesting at the library to this day.
Okay, so let's start talking a little bit about the book. So I think first it would be nice to just think a little bit about the different types of girls, like the different presentations of femininity that we encounter in these books. I think what is kind of traditional in some ways about these books is like you have very clear like archetypes of people, but I also think there's a lot of nuance among them. So what do we think about the different kind of presentations of femininity and girlhood that we see represented in these books?
Well, Christy's, I think, must be kind of the type A person. She comes up with the business idea. I guess if she had a fatal flaw, you would say she's bossy, but she's entrepreneurial and authoritative. I don't know. I'm trying to think back to the Christie books that we read now, and I'm kind of blanking. But
she's a tomboy too, and I think that does come out a little bit with some of the. I mean, again, we see it a lot with all the fashion choices. Fashion's like a big deal in these books. They talk a lot about their clothes. You've got Christie who can't. I think one of the things is like, we couldn't talk her out of jeans for
the dance. And also she says something like, oh, if she the only reason she even wears clothes is because it's against the law to be naked, which I don't think is accurate.
Right. Yeah.
No, I don't get the sense that Christie wants to be nude.
Yeah.
People. It's more just she doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't think Connecticut's warm enough that you would want to do that.
She does really care about that visor, though, man.
She loves her visor.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's with the visor? Does it?
I still don't get it because I in my head I'm imagining like a poker player visor or like a. Didn't like they used to like stylize like newspapers where like the editor in chief would have like a visor or something?
Is it
Maybe.
like a I'm in charge visor?
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
her
like it's
like
very
I'm running
directorial.
things. Let me see if I can find
Because they have her whole like they have like a director's chair thing for her.
Yeah.
They mentioned at one point.
I'm surprised she didn't just like Steve Jobs didn't just have like a uniform that she wore.
She does love
every
a turtleneck.
The
she
black-
does love
the
a
black
turtleneck,
turtlenecks
yes,
and the
yes.
jeans,
but
but-
she changes it up in a way that Steve Jobs didn't, I guess.
Well, he didn't bathe, so
okay.
apparently he smelled really bad.
Yeah, so lots of visors on newspaper men back in the day. So maybe it's that.
Maybe it's maybe that's the vibe she's going for.
But I definitely picture that weird green visor.
It's also just like a good time for visors, like in the like late 80s, early 90s. I feel like visors are very hip then. Visors and vests. Yeah. So you have Christie, you've got Claudia. She's the artsy one. She also seems we know from her books that she's like the most emotional, kind of outwardly emotional.
She's
one.
impulsive too. Like I think we said in the Claudia ones, like Claudia is very id. You know, she doesn't have a filter. She just she's a free spirit in a lot of ways. But I don't know, like, I'm not sure that like Claudia is styled as a particular like trope of femininity, like where Christie I think more is with like, she is the tomboy. She's the type A, the bossy girl.
Yes. And you've got Stacey. She's she's very sophisticated. That's what
She's from
Mary
New
Anne
York.
says a lot. She's from New York.
Did you know she has diabetes?
And she's diabetes.
New York and diabetes are her whole personality.
I feel like we did have more evolution of understanding of diabetes in these books. Like in the past ones, it's just like, yeah, she can't eat sugar and that's it. But at least
now
it's
she
like
can't like
processed
eat anything.
This
She
poor
can't
girl.
eat pizza. She
have
can't eat.
cheese.
I'm just concerned that they're letting her eat any food off screen now.
Yeah.
I do feel like Stacey is sort of meant to be the fast girl in this group. Like she's into boys sooner than everybody. She's a little bit more mature. She's reading the like gossip mags for teenagers probably a little bit before. Because Mary Anne gets into it by the later books, but we definitely see that that's a progression for Mary Anne, who is very sheltered in the first few books.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Mary Anne. Her dad's weird.
Yeah,
I don't like her dad. Well,
He's
he
super
changes
controlling.
really abruptly too.
Yeah.
Like, he's weird in the first couple books and then he's fine.
He does.
Once he gets with Dawn's mom, he's fine. But like, he's still kind of weird even in the Logan Likes Mary Anne books.
Yeah, his characterization goes from like ultra controlling to
Kind of controlling.
but still controlling. But like, I really derailed on the whole she has to get permission to take her hair out of braids
Yeah,
thing.
that was
not like
wild.
I'm like, I can understand the whole like you need to be home at a certain time because at least that's like I'd like you to be home enough time to get good sleep. At least there's like a rationale behind it, even if it's a little strict. But like, there's no reason to say you can't take your hair out of braids and have your hair the way you want it at that age.
No,
That's
it's
just
crazy.
nonsense.
But it's like a milestone for her that he lets her wear her hair loose finally. Like
that's just so.
I always wondered if that
insanely
was just
controlling.
something like she never thought to ask. Like the other ones I kind of can understand, you know, because I think the main issue in that plot point is that she wants to be able to babysit like later or be out later. But she ties all of these things in together that I wonder, like, had she just asked before, he would have been like, yeah, I'm not, like, too concerned with that.
He seemed like he was, though. Like,
okay.
it seemed like it was a step too far. Like, it was almost like, 10 o'clock, I'll think about it. Take your hair out of braids? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm like, these things are not the same.
Yeah. I just think, too, like, there was the point where she, like, kind of explodes at him and she asks all those things. Can I stay out late? Can I take the Humpty Dumpty poster off my wall? Can I take her hair out of braids? And
really weird choice.
He sends her to her room. And then the thing I didn't like that most is, like, the next day she apologizes to him twice. And then she feels like things are really icy. Like, she has to repair their relationship in some way. And that's what, like, really gave me, like, just icky vibes. Like, the fact that as the 12-year-old, you're worried about repairing your relationship with your dad because you got upset about his controlling behavior. Like,
and the relationship is weird anyways, because she talks about how, like, well, dad wants me to have dinner on the table by this time. Sometimes he cooks and sometimes I cook, but we eat at this time every day and we eat together and we don't talk, basically. Like, she says weird. At some point that, like, I sit, like, across from him every night and I don't actually, like, we don't know each other.
Yeah.
And that's depressing because he's all she's had since she doesn't even remember her mom. Like, she died when she was a baby. So it's just been her dad. And golly, like, it feels frosty the whole time, the relationship.
And I mean, I imagine it's probably hard to, like, raise a daughter as, like, a single parent in any circumstances, but, like, the choices, so many of the choices that he makes just seem indefensible to me. I'm glad you brought up, Kelsey, that part about her room, because, like, why would you care how she is decorating her room?
Yeah, and, like, as a kid, I wasn't allowed to put up any posters on the wall at all because my parents had similar fears about, like, ruining putting holes in the wall. Yeah, ruining the walls. But, like, I did, like, hang stuff on top of the art that was and that was fine. It was just about, like, damaging the wall. So the fact that it's, like, also controlling what is in the art is, like,
speaking of the posters, though, okay, this is really a tangent, but I think it might be the second book that we read. So Mary Anne gets really into this, like, celebrity named Cam Geary, and she really wants to put his picture in her locker, but you're not allowed to do tape. So the solution is they all, like, partially chew some gum and use gum to stick it in their lockers. And it's like, why have none of these kids heard of, like, sticky putty? Like, why are you using chewed up gum? That's gross.
Did that exist in the 80s?
Disgusting.
That's what I was wondering. Oh, but I don't know.
Also, like,
I just don't understand that.
I feel like that's going to be harder to get off once it solidifies.
But it's about the letter of the rule, not the spirit of the rule. It's like Stacey being like, oh yeah, my mom said I can only talk to Lane. What's her name? Lane Matthews. Lane.
For 5 minutes at a time. So I called back
for 5 minutes at a time,
minutes.
so I can talk to her for a half hour if I just keep calling.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's correct. That's what happens when you have arbitrary rules.
Yeah, that is such kid mentality.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Not the gum part,
Yeah.
but, like, the fact that they were just like, yeah, so we use gum to stick our posters, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, whoever has to clean up this lockers.
I know. Imagine the janitors.
It's your own locker too. That's just, like, your gross, like, chewed up gum in there.
Yeah.
And, like, on the poster too, like, that's gross for the poster. Like,
also, would it really work?
Yeah, it would work. It's
it
just
would
like
work. It would
putty.
stick, but it's gross.
Guys, I didn't know Cam Geary wasn't a real person.
I was just wondering, was he a real person?
Yeah, I was like, because I remember him so vividly because he comes up in a lot of these books, and I just assumed he was real, and we didn't have Google back then, so I just, like, in my brain, Cam Geary was a real person.
She made up a fake celebrity?
Well, yeah, because he's in 16 magazine also.
Yeah, I know. I saw that in the plot summary too, because it's like, wow, you barely just took that one step off of the real thing. And I was like, I wonder who it was based on at the time.
Ooh, we should ask her. She has an active Facebook
I'm
page.
sure it's somebody. Like, I was thinking, like, it's probably, like, one of the New Kids on the Block or something that she had in her head.
Yeah, because there's also, is it Matt Morrison or whatever? And I was thinking like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
So
that would have been later, right?
Saved by the Bell was like late 80s? ?
Yeah, but I think these were like mid 80s.
When was his first appearance, Cam?
It said 80 in my book, but
okay.
I think this was the first appearance of Cam Geary in book 10.
And book 10 was published. Let me see.
89 was the first Saved by the Bell. So I don't think it's a Zach reference.
Okay.
But yes, his look was very like what she described for Cam Geary.
Going back to Mary Anne's controlling dad, though, I thought it was really, really strange the way that they depicted their dinners together, and the fact that there was like a point where Mary Anne is like, "Oh, he's talking about a case, but I can't remember. He must have told me, and I feel really bad." Like, she's always like walking on eggshells with him, and I think that was a really interesting dynamic to put in there, because this is why part of me does want to continue on and read the series, because I wonder if they ever do anything with that. Like, do her and her dad ever have a much more mature conversation about kind of the way that she feels toward him? Or is this just kind of glossed over, like he just marries Dawn's mom?
It gets less weird, but I think it is a lot because Dawn's mom is in the picture.
Like she softens a little bit. Yeah, no, but I wish that were a conversation or some plot point between Mary Anne and her dad.
Well, it's also weird because she says he like makes them say grace before they eat, and he always says like, and watch over Alma. And she was like, that's weird that he always like puts her in like he's doing too much, basically.
Like,
and I thought that was kind of a
weird before I go to bed. Isn't that enough?
Right.
That like she mentions her in her prayers at night.
Right.
But yeah, it is a weird thing to bring up during grace. Like, thank you for the food
during
and
grace?
Also keep an eye on her dead mom.
Is there like a religious tradition that prays for people during grace? I have never heard of that. Maybe
I mean, certainly like at holidays and stuff where you do like a more elaborate grace, or like where people are gathering more. But for your everyday meal, it's a little bit weird.
But not just like having dinner on a Tuesday night.
I feel like it speaks to this idea though that like he truly doesn't know how to like, because her mom died so young and like she doesn't really have a memory of her. He really doesn't seem to know how to like keep her part of things, or like keep like to kind of not forget her or honor that Mary Anne like has had this loss, but also like doesn't really know about the loss, you know, like to what extent does she need to be brought into it? I think he just genuinely is like being a little weird about it by accident.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring it up, Darlene, because I was thinking when I was reading it that like the setup is very similar to Nancy Drew with the dead mom and then the dad who's a lawyer and trying to navigate it. But Carson Drew is like a good dad, and he's very warm, and they have a great relationship. They talk very freely. And then this is so like not that, where it's just like, I would feel really weird in that household. Like all of the rules, it's just frosty. There's no warmth there at all. And really there isn't until I guess when he lets her get the cat, he's a little bit more normal about things. But even that feels very like weirdly rigid. He's like, well, I will have to think about this and make a decision.
And then he like stares into space, and then 5 minutes later he's
I have made a decision.
Like he's an android.
You may get a cat. You will be responsible for litter box, and this I will be responsible for vet bills. Okay.
No wonder poor Mary Anne is like shy and awkward and struggles with social situations.
Yeah, I feel like she's honestly pretty well adjusted given the circumstances, because he's deeply strange.
How could she not be?
Yeah.
There are a lot of weird parents in this. We were talking about that too before you got here, Kelsey, because you've got Mary Anne's weird dad. You have Christy's deadbeat dad who he seriously, I think, catches astray the first page of this book. Yeah, we've got on page 1 of Mary Anne Saves the Day. Christy's parents got divorced a few years ago and her dad walked out. But my father has not been like a father to Christy. He's not warm and open like Mrs. Thomas. And then, yeah, it's like, okay,
It came in really hot.
It did.
I was a little uncomfortable.
Page one.
I too. Then I forget which the other book it was, but she says something about like Dawn. Oh, Dawn says like, "Oh, my dad sent me this," and Mary Anne's like, "Don't tell Christy."
Yeah.
Because her dad doesn't
tell
even
Christy your
have
dad sent you
contact
something.
with them.
Yeah.
Like they haven't spoken.
Like he doesn't remember her birthday.
Yeah, nothing. Not holidays, nothing. That was crazy. And then I think the McGills, that situation is weird because they end up splitting up, right?
Mhm.
Like
I don't think they have
move-
yet though.
Well, I think they have by the library one, but not in the first one. But it's like Stacey and her mom, and he moved down, but then he moves back to New York.
Yeah.
And stays, because there is that weird space where Stacey moves back to New York, but then she comes back. The dads don't come off too good.
I was reflecting that there's a lot of moving in these books, like which like I think that's something I appreciate about these books is like they are very honest about like things that like happen in life that are like both everyday but also can be hard. Like when your best friend who you have like literally a secret flashlight code with, who you share a window with, now has moved across town. And, you know, families get divorced and things, but it does seem like an excessive amount of movement. Like there's always a new person. They're always moving houses like left and right. Like, I don't know, at least in my neighborhood growing up, like we didn't move like that. Like that was a really big deal. And here it seems like it's like just people do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she sets it up okay as well because Watson already had his own house. So they're kind of just moving to Watson's house. And then with the split parents, you just have a character go back and live with the dad. But you're right. I think what makes it more jarring a little bit to me, or like you have to suspend belief, is at the end of Logan Likes Mary Anne. I want to say there's like an author note, and essentially Anne Martin is basically saying like this is one of the few times or only times that she really discusses a person's age or like a character having a birthday. And she said because at some point everyone, you know, I guess maybe like the publishers decided that they should keep them in middle school forever.
Or like perpetually 13.
Yeah, perpetually
12 and 13.
And so then it just makes it weirder to think about like all of these things happening within the span of like 1 year.
A couple years, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that made me suspend belief. I was like, wait, because I really thought that they grew up in the series. Like because again, I've never read anything past any of the books that we've had to read for this podcast. So the fact that she's saying like, yeah, no, we kept them this age forever.
Well, that is interesting because I think Mallory and Jesse do grow up more. Because when they start, it's like they're like 9 or something, but I don't think they're 9 once they're made associates of the club.
They definitely grow up enough to join and be junior babysitters, but then I think they stop.
That's really weird that they age for a little bit and then everyone just
stop.
But
stops.
But the older characters don't.
Yeah, that's odd.
Random stray things, just as a side note from the first book. Actually, speaking of her dad, I don't know if this is just in the old book, but there's on page 16 in my book, she's talking about like weird things her dad doesn't let her do. The first one, Saves the Day. And she has to say yes because her dad doesn't like her saying yeah. But here's a list of the other words that she's not allowed to say in this book. Shut up, hey, gross, and the R word.
Oh, in mine,
my book.
it is stupid.
Yeah.
They spell out the R word.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is like kind of interesting that she's kind of complaining that her dad doesn't let her say that among the other ones. You know, like that's a big jump.
But back then it would have been totally fine.
yeah,
I mean, because even when I was growing up, like people threw that word around like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting anachronism.
I mean, you still hear it.
Yeah.
You still hear it
Black
now,
Eyed Peas have a whole song that they
That's
had
true.
to like retcon to get rid of that.
You hear it less now, but people still use it.
The other thing that I wanted to point out from this first book, her dad is trying to explain to her what a double standard is Is this in your book?
Yeah.
And I didn't get it.
I didn't get it either.
Oh, wait,
I
where
thought I was
is
the
it?
only one. I was like, maybe I'm just tired.
So she says, where is it? Okay. So she says,
What page are you on, Kelsey?
sorry, 138 in my book.
I regret listening to the book now because I can't flip to the page. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay.
I'll read it.
Go
So
for
she says, he is surprised that she's growing up because she knew to call 911 when the girl was sick. And he says, you're growing up. And she says, well, I'm 12. And he says, 12 means different things for different people. And then she said, you mean some 12-year-olds are ready to date and other 12-year-olds still need babysitters? And he says, exactly. And she said, but isn't that a double standard? And he says, and this, mind you, he is a lawyer.
Yes, this is a very lawyerly conversation they're having.
But then he says, no, just the opposite. An example of a double standard would be that just because a boy or girl had turned 14, he or she would automatically be encouraged to date no matter how mature he or she was. But absolutely no 13-year-old would be encouraged to do so.
What? I'm confused.
That doesn't make sense.
No, that's not what a double
That's
standard
not a double
is.
standard.
That is not what a double standard means.
And interestingly, I think there is a true double standard in the next book because Dawn is allowed to join the club with no vetting, and Logan has to have a babysitter for his babysitting.
That is
His audition.
is a double standard.
very good
Yeah.
point.
Well, is it just because she had the sense to call 911?
Maybe, but they didn't really see
No,
her in
yeah, they
action.
didn't. Yeah, but they didn't verbalize that at all. Like, oh my God, she did this great thing,
Right.
so she should be allowed. But it's like, yeah, so she had sense to call 911. You still don't know what she's like with kids.
I
Yeah.
think it's because he's a boy.
I absolutely think
It's all about them not being able to say bra in front of him. It has nothing to do because he actually has a very good babysitting resume.
Yeah.
Like
He
he is
does.
experienced.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. But, it made the meeting weird
Yeah, and he couldn't talk about a story that ended with a toddler, I assume, like
in the
pooping.
bathroom.
Yeah.
You feel like a bunch of experienced babysitters should have no problem discussing.
Yes, they all have changed diapers and like taken kids to the bathroom.
It's about
but
talking about it in mixed company, though.
yes. But there's so much bra talk, y'all.
There's a lot of bra talk.
And this is broad talk on the street.
There is a lot of bra talk in the Mary Anne books. There's talk about who has bras and who doesn't. One person's feelings are hurt because someone else got a bra but didn't tell them.
Oh my God.
Then there's the bra strap thing where Claudia's telling a story about somebody popping a bra strap and then she freezes before she gets to the word bra.
Excuse me?
And it gets all weird because Logan can't, I guess, handle the word bra and they can't handle saying the word bra in front of a boy. Bras are like really a strange.
It's a forbidden topic.
It's so interesting because Logan is like kind of mature in a lot of ways, but then like he just like
But not on
panics and
that.
literally refuses to join the babysitters club
Yeah.
because they said bra.
He's like, I don't think I want to be in your group anymore. No, the accent on. So we already made Darlene listen because the audible narrator for not the first book. I listened to Logan Likes Mary Anne, which
Same.
was a mistake. Her
Was it?
version, well, yeah, maybe it was just really entertaining. Her version of Logan's accent is bananas. He does not sound like he is from Kentucky. He sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
Now what? I say, what's the big idea bashing me on the noggin with a rolling
First thought
pin?
was, this is a Saturday Night Live skit where there's a character with a bananas Southern accent. So I went and actually looked up a bunch and I couldn't quite find one. And then my spouse was like, he sounds like an 80-year-old grandpa.
Yeah.
Like there's no like kid that would talk like that. But then you pointed that the accent kept changing.
It morphs over time.
And-
It's inconsistent one sentence to the next. It's real bad.
You said something like Benoit Blanc.
My presence will be ornamental. You will find me a respectful, quiet, passive observer.
Yeah, that's probably the closest, but
It's confusing because in the book too, sometimes she writes it out like phonetically, and then
that's what
sometimes
Darlene was saying.
It doesn't.
but
Did she?
Yeah.
Like so we played a thing where he's like, my pleasure, which nobody talks like
Yeah.
that. But it is like, I guess, written out
and
in
it's
the
written
text
that way. It
as
says
like
my
pleasure.
pleasure. And then it goes, come on, let's dance. Like
I mean-
that's written normally.
Yeah, because he flipped she slips in and out. And like, I don't want to, like, the narrator does a great job of sounding like
Mary Anne.
Like a teenage girl. Because I was thinking, like, well, why is she committing to the accent? And then it got further into the book and they kept saying, Mary Anne, like, oh, I love his Southern accent. I'm like, okay, the narrative makes her have to do the accent. And I'm thinking, oh, did they like not plan? Did they think she could do a better accent? And she's just doing the best she can?
You got to check.
Like,
if that's going to be a central feature of the book, you got to check.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't do any better. So I'm not trying to make fun of her because
her voicing of
hard,
Mary Anne's dad is weird too, though. I also found that odd. Like, it's just like when she's playing a man, she just does very odd. Like, the cadence is so strange. Like, is, with him and Logan, it is not a normal human cadence. And I think that was why Peanut was like, it's a weird transatlantic thing, because it's this very like halting, you see, we're going to the pictures.
An old-timey radio voice.
Yes, it's like a weird, no one talks like that sort of cadence. And she does it for all of the male voices in the book.
And then the dame walked into my private detective office,
it was
and
a
trouble
sassy
followed
broad.
her.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. And then she shot him. Like, okay. So it's very odd.
Yeah, a narrator. Yeah, narration is tough. I want to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
she did a great job for all of like the teenage girl voices.
Mm-hmm.
Well, voice aside, I really love Logan.
Logan's lovely.
He's so sweet. He's very patient with Mary Anne.
He's very respectful.
He's very respectful. He seems to like really get her.
He cares a lot about consent.
Yeah.
You know, like he
Mhm.
wants to make sure she's okay with like everything.
Yep.
Sometimes the way that he's written, though, is kind of like definitely like an older person writing a responsible boy. So that it's like, this is what you should aim for. Because there's like one where he says like, he's basically saying like that he appreciates that she reached out to him first.
Oh, yeah. That was very like...
I forgot how he phrased it.
I'm always calling you and you're never calling me.
Yeah.
I know that was hard for you or something like that.
What boy talks like that?
Yeah, I liked him most of the time. There were times, I think, when it felt a little bit like you felt the adult shaping the character.
Right.
And I also felt a little bit odd at her party when he was saying, I didn't think it would work out because you're a little too sensitive sometimes. I've had some feelings about that.
Yeah, I didn't like
I have
that.
to admit.
And then I didn't like when she asked him why he likes her, and he said, because you're different from other girls. And I get what he's trying to say, but I was like, barf. Like, I just...
Yeah.
No.
She's not like other girls.
Yeah, I don't know if the I'm not like other girls thing became a thing until later than this. Like, I feel like that reads weird now, but maybe
Mary Anne
wouldn't have
originate
at the
that?
time.
Yeah, I'll maybe give them a little bit of a pass on that for the time, but
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't work. For
Read
us
well
now.
now. Yes.
Yeah.
He says, hey, I'm really glad you called. You never call me. I always call you. I'm glad you felt, comfortable enough to call. I'm glad you felt,
I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to call.
So yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's very sweet and like I said, I really feel like he gets her. Like, the fact that they were silly at the dance and then she got embarrassed, and rather than him being like, oh well, screw you, like I'm over it.
Man up.
He kept checking back on her in the bleachers and like, oh, no one's thinking about that anymore. Like, that was
I
sweet.
did appreciate his babysitting as well, and sort of the different dynamic between how he babysits versus how someone like Mary Anne or any of the other girls would, because he's just very understanding that boys are just gonna be rambunctious because he is a boy, and obviously like he's babysat before as well. But yeah, it was really interesting because she's like, is he not gonna say don't do that again? And he doesn't. He just kind of like talked about something else with who is the boy that
Jamie Riddell.
Yeah,
the accident-prone child.
The
accident-prone
chin up on the curtain rod.
Yeah.
I thought that was good though, because he told a story about when he did it and he cut his chin open in stitches. Like that subtly tells the child,
Don't
hey, you've learned your lesson. I learned mine. Let's not do it again. And like, obviously the kid fell down and broke the bar. I feel like even like a more chaotic child would be like, that was not the thing to do. Like, this probably won't work again. You don't need to like then scold him.
But it lets them know like, hey, I made a mistake too.
Yep.
You know, it was a kind of a gentler way of saying maybe we shouldn't do chin ups on the shower.
But I also understand Mary Anne's like wanting to be like, no, like some things need to be said,
Right.
because sometimes the kid's not gonna know.
Please do not do this.
Like I know that she was on edge when he like let Jamie like pour his own. Like, was it lemonade or
it was
some
grape juice?
Grape juice.
Yeah, and then it like was overflowing, and then he like was trying to carry it, and it fell on the rug.
Oops. Oh no! When kids take a sip, their drink cup slips, flips, and
I was
drips.
like, "You're just lucky that rug was a dark colored rug."
I think Logan ended up pouring the juice. I could be wrong. I think he poured the juice, and then Jamie got up and ran with the juice, and instantly went face down with the juice on the carpet. I have to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure
I think
pouring happened by Logan,
tried to intervene at different points.
and then there was running with the juice instantly. I feel like the parents know this.
Yeah.
The parents must know this.
Well, them being like, just keep an eye on him.
They didn't have a white carpet, which is probably
It's a good sign.
for a reason.
So Logan is obviously like a pretty all around like pretty good kid, but he's pretty much the only boy who seems to be good in these books.
Well, Trevor seems okay in these ones. Like,
He's
he
okay.
seems harmless. Alan is a disaster. What is wrong with him?
Yeah.
I hate that he's like Christy's counterpart, or like
Yeah.
it's understood that she'll maybe date at some point.
And she's not like him.
Yeah.
Like, he is messed up. So so Alan is back after he stalked the girls in Claudia and the Phantom phone calls. And he's still like being really weird. I don't know. Alan is a problem in these too.
What does he do? I don't remember.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious how Christy invites him to the boy-girl party that Stacey
Maybe that's what I'm
throws
thinking
for
of.
Mary Anne.
For her birthday.
And then apparently, like, one of the girls glared at Christy for inviting him because he was being annoying.
Yeah. And then they also get another kid prank calling them because he was upset he didn't get invited.
Oh, was that the pig farm call?
Yeah. Also, was that a thing? Like, you would just have like your friends answer your house phone for you? Like, that seemed weird that she was like, Mary Anne, you answer the phone.
And then
Logan answered.
She was like, such and such residence.
Yeah, that was, I mean, like, I could see it maybe if you were like hanging out and your hands were full, but like, it's not like her parents were there. They could answer the phone.
Okay, Alan put the M&Ms on his eyes and says that it's his Annie eyes, which is really weird.
What
I
does
don't
that
even
mean?
know what that
Like
means.
Raggedy Ann?
No, like Little Orphan Annie.
Oh.
He said.
I was trying to figure out what
I
that
didn't
meant.
know either. Like, does she have like just weird dots for eyes or something?
I don't think so.
Because like Little Orphan, like that's.
And then all the boys who are like, oh, Logan's getting in the babysitters club because he, oh, you got it in. Like, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the problematic boys in this. So in the library mystery, can we talk about Sean? Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, I want to start by saying that Sean's home life is poor because we learned a lot about his family. He is Corey's older brother. And we learned a lot about Corey in the Claudia books because that was the girl that the parents would drop off super early, pick up super late, like because they were going to cocktail parties or the country club. Like they couldn't be bothered with her.
They did the art camp.
Yeah. And like they weren't even paying attention to like she hasn't brought home any art this week. Like they just did not care about her. She was like an accessory. So presumably Sean has had the same issues. And he does say at the end of the library book, oh, my parents don't pay attention to me kind of thing. But his solution to this is to start fires.
Yeah, and like intense fires too. It's not like, I mean, like there is an age at which like you get very obsessed with fire. And
sure.
Like, kids like
fire in the disco. Fire in the Taco Bell.
All teenagers at some point or tweens have like played with matches. Like he's got lighter fluid.
Yeah.
He's like very
He's full on arson at the library.
Like this, I feel like this is at a higher level than just most experimenting with matches that kids.
And he's not doing it out of curiosity. He's doing it because he's angry. like he's mad that his family's making him do the readathon, which, I mean, it doesn't even seem like he ends up doing the readathon. So I don't even see how the fires connect, because unless you burn the whole library down, the readathon is still happening. He's burning like a book at a time. So he weirdly chooses to pick books off of the banned book list from the Moms for Liberty people. I don't know what they're called. But they have a pamphlet with like all of the books that they want taken out of the library. So I guess Sean just decided that they would either be a convenient scapegoat for his fires, or he agreed that those were bad books. So he decided to light only books from the pamphlet on fire. But he starts multiple fires in a public place. And yes, uses lighter fluid for whatever. Like, this is not playing with matches. This is like pretty organized arson. That's extremely disturbing.
Yeah. And it was like cross-reference with 5th grade, like recommended reading too. Because I think then they brought up that that's the list that most, like it must be a 5th grader or something. But yeah, it seems very like intentional. And then in that case, it just feels, it's more alarming, and they don't treat it as alarming as it is. They're just oh man, we feel really bad for him.
Yeah, poor old Sean with his terrible parents. And it's so of the books that he burns Deanie by Judy Blume, A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein, which I was like, why is that one on the banned books list? I totally don't remember anything in that was, but I'm sure it was just disorderly kids, or, it's encouraging bad behavior or something. Tom Sawyer.
Not edifying enough.
And then Lincoln. Which also, why is that on the banned book list? But whatever.
Banned books never make sense. That's, you're trying to put logic where there is none.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to say, like, I'm used to, I didn't have this mystery. I did have to buy this one. So I did not read this as a child, but the mysteries that I did own and read were all very scary, and usually like had a paranormal aspect to them of some sort, or like were creepy. Like
we need to do some of those.
Yeah,
ooh, totally.
like fun.
Like
they reminded me a lot of like Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. Like I felt like that's where it spurred off, where like you genuinely felt like endangered. Whereas like this, obviously, like they're playing it up to be very stressful, but like ultimately it is just like
it was
one
a case
book burning
to
in a
solve,
trash
but
can.
it's not like
it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it was kind of an interesting, it felt like a non sequitur to me, but maybe I just only happened to read the scary ones. And also I was like, I have always been a scaredy cat, so maybe I just was more scared by them as a kid. But yeah, I don't know. I do want to say I appreciated the banned book subplot.
Same.
Finally,
timely.
Yeah, for real. It's like this just never goes
40
away.
years later, and it still is relevant.
Did you read the note Anne Martin put at the end of the book?
No, should we read it?
Well, it was on. I did the Kindle version.
Oh, I did too.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see.
Is it in mine?
Yes,
It's like an ALA link.
Yeah, a note to readers. Various groups have banned or tried to ban the books mentioned in this story from school and public libraries. For more information about book banning, visit the American Library Association online at www.ala.org/advocacy/banned.
I appreciate that she
that's
did
great.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not in my book.
Okay, yeah, it must have been something that they did with a later publication.
She does have a call to action in general to join the Babysitters Club Get Involved challenge with Scholastic, but you could have any issue. So she mentions recycling. I do love her notes at the end. Just as a side note, the very first, and Mary Anne Saves the Day, the note at the end encourages teens to find out if 911 is an option for them in their neighborhood, because it was not a thing.
It was a
everywhere.
new thing then.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate the banned books. I also just feel like there's a lot of justice for librarians in this one, because like historically we've only seen Miss Kishi as
who doesn't
a librarian.
Stock Nancy Drews for reasons.
She sucks. Yeah. Well, does she stalk them and she doesn't let Claudia read them, or she doesn't stalk them at all?
No, because Claudia, in the Claudia books, remember we were trying to figure out why there are no Nancy Drews in the public library. Yeah.
She's against them. And she's not even the children's librarian, so she shouldn't have a say there.
Let Miss Frizzle, whatever her name was.
Feld?
Yes.
Well, after we recorded that episode, I spoke with a colleague of ours who was working in a public library around the time. She said that it used to be a lot harder to have like popular reading material like that for kids in the public library.
That's wild.
So they had a book about a robot mowing the lawn.
Yeah, and like certainly when I was growing up, which wasn't that much later than this, I mean 10 years or something.
It might maybe varied by the library.
Yeah, I was out in the sticks. I mean,
there was no oversight
knock
out
on
there.
Mesquite Public Library in Texas, but we weren't like big city kind of thing, and we had Nancy Drews and
maybe we need to do some research and some polling and talk to Monica more, because I'm curious to see kind of like what the landscape looked like at the time that these were out, where you could check them out, what libraries had them, how widespread, what the discourse was.
Like back then too, like I guess I would almost understand it more if it wasn't the like at the time the current Nancy Drews, the ones that were still being released, which were a little bit more
because
racy for Nancy Drew, but
really
the yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow spine ones, I thought those would have been like, they were in my school library. They were,
with the Hardy
those
Boys
were classics.
And the Boxcar Children.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. So we have Mrs. Feld, who's the children's librarian. She's amazing. Love her
fabulous.
so much. She is so supportive of Mary Anne. She kind of like has a wink, wink, nudge, nudge with Miss Elway about like, yeah, she sucks, but like, you know, we can play along with her. But then I will say the ratio is still off because you have Miss Kishi, who seems very nice, but doesn't like Nancy Drew. And then you have Miss Elway, who's just mean. And like, what's up with her? And she's an heiress or not an heiress. Her family's destitute.
She was an heiress, but then her land got sold to the town to build the public library or something.
So she's destined to work there against her will.
That didn't really make much sense. The whole subplot about Miss Elway maybe being the like book burner never really made a lot of sense to me. It's like she must be doing it because she's bitter about having to give up her family land for the library. It's like, but she chose to work at the library.
Right.
She just seemed like a cranky lady who wasn't a bad person.
Didn't like kids, but was pro-library.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels very like, it reminds me just of Scooby-Doo, where they always have like one character that they first like yes. That's the person they think it is. And it's like very like, it just doesn't make sense that it would be that person. And then like slowly they get to like the actual
You're expecting
culprit.
Sean to pull off a rubber Miss Elway mask and be like, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Yeah, it's never the first person that they suspect, so.
I forgot to say this earlier, but something that did jump out to me is how many dances they have at this middle school.
It's a lot. They're having at least once a month dances.
And for middle school. Like what is, also what is Remember September? Because I Googled it because I was like, oh, this must be just a thing I'm not familiar with. And it's only all the things that came up were Babysitter's Club Wiki. So Anne Martin made up a whole thing just so they could go to a dance.
I guess it's just their end of September dance.
And then they have a 50s fling.
Yeah.
It's too much. And it was weird. I mean, also speaking of Mary Anne's controlling father, that like this is before he met Dawn's mom. And he's just like, oh yeah, go take my charge card, go to the mall, buy yourself a hot outfit so that you can look cute for your new boyfriend who I'm going to allow so you can go to the dance. Like, what has happened?
That seems out of character.
And
he should have been there,
like, can't stay out past 9:30.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he didn't ask to go with her so that he can like okay the outfit.
Right.
Like,
measure how long her skirt is or something.
Her city skirt.
And it was funny. So Christy, speaking of their like tropes, right? So Christy wanted to go to sportswear.
Yep.
Stacey wanted to go to underwear.
Yeah.
Stacey's like, we're getting lingerie. And it's like, okay, Stacey.
She's going to a dance. The clothes are going to stay on.
Yeah, what was Stacey's angle there?
Yeah, that was weird. Like,
you don't want lines.
Like the most they're gonna do is hold hands.
Yeah, that was a really weird.
It was confusing.
Like, especially from like the book where we had just been like, not everyone has a bra yet. So like, we need to go lingerie shopping.
They are 12.
Yeah, no, Stacey's funny or like just weird in many ways. Like, I feel like I flagged like. There's one where she says, like, don't forget where I'm from. Like, she makes New York her personality. Yeah. And then I thought it was so funny that at the end of Mary Anne Saves the Day, she's like, I guess I can be less snobby about being from New York. Yeah. Like, Like that's your like bad
No, it's
characteristic.
just New York and diabetes. That's Stacey's whole
I got
identity.
my 2 personality traits, one in each hand. New York and diabetes.
Diabetes.
Never did resolve the thing with Sean's pyromania, though.
Yeah, like what did his parents do?
Well, she says, so Miss Kishi calls and talks to the parents, and they say the parents come to get him, and there's a lot of like crying and hugging and whatnot. But Mary Anne says he was a kid who needed a lot of help, more than we could give him. But we never get any indication that he's actually getting that help.
Yeah. But the thing is that just probably doesn't have a good resolution because it doesn't seem like the parents have learned anything from, because the book where, the Claudia book where it was about his sister, that, you know, in theory, like you would think that the parents are like, okay, maybe we should pay more attention to our kids, but then
no, they're
not
still
the
doing
case.
the same
They're still
thing.
doing
Where,
the same thing.
Like he's
where they're
saying,
just like,
oh, they make us go to all these activities, and it's fine for Corey. She likes that. What's going to change? Because we're 40-something books in or something, and she's still being
I
weird.
wish it were just, I mean, well, then it wouldn't have high stakes, but I'd be less concerned if it was just that he was hiding the books.
Yeah.
Like if he was just
Or
hiding
even
the
if he
books
was throwing them away. Like nobody's going to get hurt by that. If he was just like, I'm getting rid of everything on the 5th grade reading list so I don't have to do the readathon. But instead he's starting fires that he's not like hanging around for. He's not like looking to make sure that it's going to control the
People could
fire.
Potentially die in that scenario.
It's very unsafe.
Yeah.
How old is this child?
Well, that's what I was wondering, because like
I don't think they say.
It does
do
ring
they?
of like a logic of a younger child, and maybe that is less concerning. But if he's older,
But they were all on the 5th grade book.
Oh,
reading
yeah. So
list.
he has to
he's
be
like
like
11?
10, 11.
So he's really
pretty young.
It's young, but it's
too old to
not-
be doing that.
Yeah. And then just like resorting to crying the minute that you're like caught.
Well, and also he brought lighter fluid. This
The lighter
again
fluid
is
is the
not just
concerning
like
thing.
he grabbed matches from home and is not thinking this out. Like this is organized.
It's a planned crime.
It's very premeditated.
First degree arson.
I think Sean's going to grow up to be a bad one, y'all. It's like he's already dabbling in the like serial killer triad with his fire
I
starting.
mean, unfortunately, I think what happens to Sean now is either his parents underreact to this and continue to ignore him and not respond to this thing that he's done, or he like maybe gets a bunch of like really traumatizing psychiatric care. Like I feel like these are the two
he's grounded
scenarios.
from here to
finally
eternity.
gets attention,
Yeah.
and the take home is if I do bad things, I get the attention I'm craving.
I guess that's the third scenario. I think it's hard to imagine a scenario where he kind of gets the right sort of attention.
That's the moral, really. Arson is not the solution to your problems.
We had a lot to say about Mary Anne, her dad, Logan, and the library mystery. That's it for part 1 of our Mary Anne episode. We'll be back with part 2 soon. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. You can drop us a line at the link in the episode notes or find us on Instagram. We're at These Books Made Me.